can't believe you're making me do this.
You look fabulous.
I look ridiculous.
Just do it.
Action!
Welcome to Musical Menus. Today I'm going to make some hot cross buns, but to add a little bit of a twist, I'm going to make some sticky date hot cross buns. I'm also going to make some date, fig and orange jam to go with them. It's time for a Musical Menu Quickie. First, we're going to get our dry ingredients organised. Into a mixing bowl, put 4 cups of plain flour, 2 packets of dried yeast, half a cup of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of ginger, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of nutmeg, 1 tablespoon of cocoa, and 1 teaspoon of salt. Give it a mix, then sift it into your mixing bowl. Now we're going to add our dates. I'm going to do them 2 ways. 100 grams of them I'm going to cut up really fine, and the remaining 200 grams I'm just going to cut in half so you get little bits of date inside the hot cross bun. Now we need to add our wet ingredients. Now this is the only time you need to be a little bit precise because the wet ingredients need to be around about 49 degrees Celsius. If it's too cold, the yeast won't bloom, and if it's too hot, you will kill the yeast and then you'll be guilty of bun murder. In a saucepan, gently melt 50 grams of butter and 300 grams of milk and bring it up to 49 degrees. Pour the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients along with 2 eggs and mix together with a dough hook for a few minutes or until it comes together into a ball. Turn out onto a floured surface and knead for about 5 minutes. Place into a lightly oiled bowl. Cover in plastic wrap or a towel and put in a warm place for about 90 minutes until it's doubled in size. I tend to use the oven with the light on. While we wait for our dough to rise in the oven, we're going to make our jam. Now, I really like a really chunky jam, so I'm going to cut up my dried fruit into quite big bits. If you like one that's a little bit smoother, then just cut it up a bit more. Into a saucepan, put 200 grams of chopped figs, 300 grams of chopped dates, the juice and rind of 1 orange, 1 cup of sugar. I'm using a jam setting sugar, which has pectin to help it thicken. Then half a teaspoon of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of ginger, and a little bit of vanilla. Transfer this to the stove and bring it to the boil. You may need to add a little bit of water to get it going, and then reduce it right down until it's really sticky and jammy. Once it's cooled down a bit, transfer into a sterile jar. While we're waiting for the jam to cool, we're going to make the sticky glaze for the buns. Into a saucepan, put 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, 1 tablespoon of apricot jam, 2 tablespoons of golden syrup, and 1 tablespoon of butter. Right, so the dough is rising in the oven, the jam's made. This glaze smells absolutely amazing. I've sort of run out of things to do. Oh, can I take this off now?
No.
I suppose we'll just wait then. Why am I the only one that has to look stupid like this?
The puppies loved it.
Look, I am a professional cellist and a very serious cook.
Get over yourself.
How dare you, madam?
Action!
Oh, welcome back to Musical Menus. It's time for us to get our dough out of the oven and make some buns. Okay, now we need to cut them into buns. I'm going to use a scale. You don't have to use a scale, you can eyeball it if you want to, but I'm going to try and get each one around about 100 grams. Now you need to form them into buns. I find the best way is to get them round and then stretch them under until the top of the bun is nice and taut. You might see a few dates poking through, but that's fine. Then roll them in your hands or on the countertop until they make a beautiful little bun. Once you've got all your buns made, cover them in cling wrap and they go back in the oven to warm for another half an hour. While we're waiting for them, we're going to make the paste that we're going to use for the crosses on top. Mix half a cup of plain flour with a couple of tablespoons of water until you get a paste. Transfer this to a piping bag. We're nearly there. Next we have to take the buns out of the oven and paint them with some egg wash. Then pipe some beautiful little crosses on the top of each bun. It's back into the oven at 180 degrees for about 25 minutes. The final process is to paint that sticky sauce all over the top of our beautiful hot cross buns. Well, here we have my sticky date hot cross buns with that beautiful fig and date and orange jam and a bit of mascarpone. Although I've got to say it looks a bit lonely on that plate. I might have to have a couple. Don't forget to hit subscribe and find me on Facebook and Instagram. And of course, this recipe will be on musicalmenus.com.au. Well, I suppose that's the end of the video.
Do it.
I'm not going to do it.
Do it.
I'm not going to do it.
Just do it.
Happy Easter.